There is a reason your life feels uncomfortable in certain areas, a reason why no matter how much you try to stay the same, something keeps pushing you to change. You try to hold on to what feels safe, familiar relationships, familiar patterns, familiar versions of yourself, but life doesn't let you stay there for long. Because there is a specific direction your life is trying to move in, and whether you realize it or not, you are constantly being pulled toward it. In astrology, that force is called the North Node. In Vedic astrology, it's known as Rahu, and this is not just another placement in your chart. This is your growth point. The area of life where you feel the most desire, the most obsession, and at the same time, the most discomfort, because this is where you are meant to evolve. Now, here's what most people don't understand. Your North Node will not feel natural. It will not feel easy. In fact, it will often feel unfamiliar and uncomfortable because it is asking you to become someone you have never been before. So before we go ahead, I want you to do one thing. Check your birth chart. Find your North Node placement, then check your partners, your friends, your families. Because once you understand this, you will stop seeing random patterns in life and start seeing a clear direction, a pattern that has always been there, quietly shaping who you are becoming. Now let's break this down house by house. North Node in first house. If your North Node is in the first house, your life is centered around one core theme, learning how to become yourself without losing yourself in other people. On the surface, you may appear confident, expressive, even bold. There is something about your presence that naturally draws attention. People notice you. They remember you. You don't easily blend into the background, even if you try. But internally, the story is very different. You tend to focus heavily on others, what they think, what they feel, how they respond to you. You may find yourself constantly adjusting your behavior to maintain harmony in relationships. You give your time, your energy, your attention, sometimes more than necessary. And slowly, this creates a pattern where your life starts revolving around others instead of yourself. This is the imbalance of this placement. Because your growth is not in managing others. Your growth is in building your own identity. You are meant to prioritize yourself, not in a selfish way, but in a grounded, self-directed way. Now let's talk about your personality patterns. You are naturally experimental. Your appearance, your style, even your personality can go through phases of change. One phase, you feel like a completely different person than the previous one. This is because you are actively discovering who you are rather than inheriting a fixed identity. You are also highly ambitious. You think big. You want growth, recognition, movement in life. Staying stagnant feels uncomfortable to you. But along with that ambition comes impatience. You may want faster results, quicker progress, more immediate outcomes. This can lead to choosing shortcuts or losing consistency when things take longer than expected. In relationships, you are very perceptive. You can read people quickly. You notice small shifts in behavior, tone, or energy. You often understand what someone is like within a very short time. This is a strength, but it can also become a problem because that same awareness can turn into over-analysis. You may start judging too quickly, pointing out flaws, or becoming overly critical of others. And this creates friction. Now here's your real lesson. You are not here to live your life through other people's expectations. You are here to build a strong sense of self, to make decisions based on your own direction, to develop independence, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. Because the moment you stop over-investing in others and start investing in yourself, everything changes. Your confidence becomes stable instead of reactive. Your decisions become clear instead of influenced. And your life finally starts aligning with who you are actually meant to become. If this spoke to you, grab the downloadable version of this mind map on Patreon, along with a complete collection of planetary mind maps. The link is in the description and pinned comment. North Node in second house. If your North Node is in the second house, your life is centered around one core theme: building stability, self-worth, and a healthy relationship with money and value. This is not just about finances. This is about how you see yourself, your worth, your standards, and what you believe you deserve. People with this placement often have a deep desire for security. You want to feel safe financially, emotionally, and mentally. You want control over your life, especially when it comes to resources. And because of that, money becomes a major focus. You think about it often. how to earn more, how to grow it, how to maintain it. Now, this can go in two very different directions. On one side, this placement can make you extremely capable of building wealth. You can become financially smart, disciplined, and focused. You understand value, and over time, you can create strong stability in your life. But on the other side, if imbalanced, this can turn into obsession. You may tie your self-worth to money. You may feel like you are only valuable when you are earning more, achieving more, or having more. And because of that, no amount ever feels enough. There can also be patterns of overspending, especially on things that make you feel important, validated, or secure. Luxury, brands, or status symbols may attract you not just for comfort, but for identity. Now let's talk about communication. The second house also represents speech. Your words carry impact. When you speak, people listen. You can influence, persuade, and express clearly. But if this energy is not balanced, your speech can become sharp, reactive, or emotionally charged. You may say things in the moment that create long-term consequences. Family patterns also play a strong role here. Many people with this placement either grow up in environments where money was unstable, or they witness major shifts in financial conditions early in life. This creates a deep internal drive to never feel that instability again. Now here is your real lesson. You are not here to chase money. You are here to build value. Because when you focus only on money, you stay in fear of losing it, fear of not having enough. But when you focus on value, your skills, your mindset, your self-worth, money becomes a natural result. You are also meant to develop emotional stability, not reacting instantly, not speaking impulsively, but responding with awareness, because your voice has power and your presence has weight. The moment you stop measuring your worth through external things and start building it internally, your relationship with money changes. Your confidence becomes grounded, and your life starts feeling stable not just on the outside, but within you. If this resonated with your journey, you can find the downloadable version of this mind map on Patreon, together with mind maps for every other planet. The link is in the description and pinned comment. North Node in third house. If your North Node is in the third house, your life is centered around one core theme: learning how to express yourself, take action, and trust your own voice. This is the house of communication, skills, and courage. And with this placement, your growth does not come from overthinking. It comes from doing. You are someone with a very active mind, always thinking, analyzing, processing. Your brain moves fast. You pick up information quickly, adapt quickly, and often make decisions faster than others. There is a natural curiosity in you. You want to know things, try things, explore different ideas. But here's the pattern. Even though you have this quick mental ability, you can become scattered, jumping from one idea to another, starting things but not always finishing them, getting excited quickly and then losing interest just as fast. This creates inconsistency, and that's where your growth lies. You are meant to take all that mental energy and channel it into focused action. Now let's talk about communication. This is one of your strongest strengths. You are meant to speak, share, write, teach, or express in some form, whether it's content creation, social media, business communication, or storytelling. You have the ability to connect with people through words, and not just words through relatability. You understand how people think. You can simplify things. You can make complex ideas feel easy. This is why many people with this placement do well in digital spaces, marketing, content, tech, media, or anything involving communication tools. You are also someone who feels energized by movement. Staying in one place for too long can feel suffocating. You may enjoy short trips, changing environments, or constantly being on the go, because movement keeps your mind active. Relationships with siblings or close peers can also be significant. Either you play a supportive role in their life, or those dynamics shape your growth in a strong way. Now let's talk about your decision making. You are naturally impulsive. You prefer speed over perfection. And surprisingly, many times you are right. You trust your instincts and act on them. But the challenge comes when speed turns into carelessness. When you move without direction. When you act without consistency. Now, here's your real lesson. You are not here to sit back and overanalyze life. You are here to participate in it, to take action, to speak up, to express what you think without waiting for perfect timing, because your power lies in movement, in communication, in showing up consistently. The moment you stop doubting your voice and start using it regularly, your confidence grows, your skills sharpen, and your life starts progressing faster than you expected. If you found this helpful, the full downloadable mind map is available on Patreon, along with the entire planetary mind map collection. You'll find the link in the description and pinned comment. North Node in 4th house. If your North Node is in the 4th house, your life is centered around one core theme: building emotional security and learning how to feel at home within yourself. This is the house of emotions, family, comfort, and your inner world. And with this placement, no matter how much you achieve externally, there can still be a lingering feeling that something is missing. You might create a successful life on the outside, a good career, a stable lifestyle, a comfortable environment. But internally, there can be restlessness, a lack of emotional grounding, and that is where your real work begins. Now let's talk about your emotional patterns. You are someone who feels deeply, even if you don't always express it. You are highly sensitive to your surroundings, the energy of people, the environment of your home, the emotional tone of situations. These things affect you more than you realize. Because of this, your connection to family becomes very significant, especially your relationship with your mother or a dominant caregiver figure. There can be strong attachment here, a sense of loyalty, a need to stay connected. But sometimes this attachment becomes overwhelming. It can influence your decisions, your relationships, even your sense of independence. For example, in romantic relationships, you may struggle with balancing your partner and your family. There can be emotional conflicts, misunderstandings, or difficulty creating clear boundaries. Now, here's another pattern. This placement often creates emotional ups and downs. Moments where you feel calm and grounded, and moments where you feel completely unsettled. You may overthink, revisit the past, or hold on to emotional experiences longer than necessary. Because of this internal instability, you may try to compensate through external comfort, building a beautiful home, creating a peaceful environment, investing in property or living spaces. And the interesting part is you can actually succeed in this area. This placement is strong for material comfort related to home. You may own property, create a well-designed space, or prioritize a comfortable lifestyle. But even then, the internal feeling may not fully settle. There's also a common pattern where growth happens when you step outside your familiar environment. Moving to a new city, changing your surroundings, experiencing life away from your roots. This creates emotional maturity and perspective. Now here is your real lesson. You are not here to depend on external situations for emotional peace. You are here to create stability within yourself through self-awareness, through emotional balance, through healthy boundaries. Because once your inner world becomes steady, your outer world starts feeling aligned. Your relationships improve. Your decisions become clearer. And that constant feeling of something is missing begins to disappear because you are no longer searching for home outside. You are building it within yourself. If this gave you some clarity, you can download this mind map on Patreon, where you'll also get the complete set of planetary mind maps. The link is in the description and pinned comment. North Node in 5th house. If your North Node is in the 5th house, your life is centered around one core theme: learning how to express yourself fully, create something that is truly yours, and experience joy without becoming controlled by attachment. This is the house of creativity, romance, self-expression, and recognition. And with this placement, you are not meant to live a hidden life. You are meant to be seen. There is something naturally magnetic about you. Your personality, your ideas, your way of expressing yourself draws attention. Even when you are not trying, people notice you. You have a creative spark that wants to come out. Whether it's through content, performance, business, art, or simply the way you present yourself, this placement pushes you toward visibility. Now let's talk about your natural strengths. You have sharp intelligence and strong instincts. You can sense opportunities quickly. You often know when to act, especially in areas where timing matters. This is why many people with this placement do well in fields like social media, marketing, entertainment, trading, or any space where risk and creativity are involved. There's also a pattern of sudden growth. You may experience phases where things rise very fast, recognition, followers, opportunities, attention, but just as quickly, things can slow down if your energy becomes unstable. And that instability comes from your biggest challenge: attachment, especially in love and emotional connections. You don't approach relationships casually. You go deep. You invest your emotions, your attention, your energy completely. And in the beginning, it feels intense and exciting, almost addictive. But over time, this can turn into over-attachment. You may expect more, hold on tighter, or lose your emotional balance if things don't go your way. This creates cycles: strong attraction, emotional highs, and then sudden drops or disappointments. The same pattern can show up in your goals. You start something with passion. You feel inspired. You give it your full energy. But if results don't come fast enough, or if your interest shifts, you may lose consistency. This leads to breaks, restarts, and unfinished cycles. Now here is your real lesson. You are here to create, but not from obsession. You are here to love, but not from dependency. You are here to express, but not for constant validation. Because the moment you attach your happiness to outcomes, whether it's a person, success, or recognition, you lose control of your emotional state. But when you learn to stay grounded, to enjoy the process, to create without needing immediate results, everything changes. Your creativity becomes more consistent, your relationships become healthier, and your success becomes sustainable. This placement has the potential to bring massive recognition and influence, but only when you learn how to balance passion with detachment, to stay connected to what you love without letting it control you. That is where your real power lies. If this felt like it described your experience, the downloadable version of this mind map is waiting for you on Patreon, along with all the other planetary mind maps. The link is below in the description and pinned comment. North Node in 6th house. If your North Node is in the 6th house, your life is centered around one core theme: discipline, structure, and mastering your day-to-day life through consistent action. This is the house of work, routine, health, responsibility, and problem solving. And with this placement, your growth does not come from big ideas alone. It comes from what you do every single day. You are someone who is meant to build your life through systems, through habits, through showing up again and again, even when you don't feel like it. Now here's the pattern. You may naturally resist routine. You may feel like structure is restrictive. You might start things with motivation, but struggle to maintain consistency over time. And because of that, your progress can feel uneven. Fast growth in some phases, and then stagnation in others. But your life keeps pushing you back to discipline. Through work pressure, through responsibilities, through situations where you are forced to organize your life better. Now let's talk about your strengths. You have a strong ability to handle pressure, deadlines, competition, challenges. You can deal with real-world problems in a very practical way. This placement is excellent for careers where structure matters: corporate roles, healthcare, law, administration, service industries, or any field where consistency and reliability are required. You also have the ability to improve over time. You may not always see instant results, but as you stay consistent, your growth becomes steady and long-lasting. This is not overnight success energy. This is built success. Now let's talk about health and lifestyle. With this placement, your physical and mental health are directly connected to your routine. If your habits are off, everything starts getting affected: your focus, your energy, your mood. There can be patterns of overworking, taking too much stress, or ignoring your body until it forces you to slow down. At the same time, this placement gives you strong recovery ability. You can overcome challenges. You can bounce back. You can build resilience. Now let's talk about competition and enemies. This placement often brings strong competition in life. People who challenge you, situations that test you. But here's the advantage. You are built to overcome them. You don't give up easily. You learn, adapt, and eventually rise above. Now here is your real lesson. You are not here to wait for motivation. You are here to create systems, to build routines that support your growth, to focus on small, consistent actions instead of chasing big, irregular efforts. Because the moment you master your daily life, everything else starts falling into place. Your work improves, your health stabilizes, your confidence grows, and your life becomes structured, clear, and progressive. This placement rewards consistency more than anything else. And once you understand that, you stop looking for shortcuts and start building something that actually lasts. If this connected with you, head over to Patreon to download this mind map and access the full library of planetary mind maps. The link is in the description and pinned comment. North Node in 7th house. If your North Node is in the 7th house, your life is centered around one core theme: learning how to build balanced, healthy relationships without losing yourself in the process. This is the house of partnerships, marriage, commitment, and one-to-one connections. And with this placement, relationships are not optional in your life. They are a major area of growth. You are someone who does not experience relationships casually. When you connect with someone, you go deep. Emotionally, mentally, energetically, there is intensity in the way you relate to people. You want closeness. You want connection. You want to feel understood. But here's the pattern. You can become overly focused on your partner, their behavior, their responses, their presence in your life. You may start prioritizing the relationship so much that you slowly begin to lose your own individuality. Your decisions start revolving around them. Your mood depends on them. Your sense of stability gets tied to the relationship. And this is where imbalance begins. Because while you are meant to grow through relationships, you are not meant to disappear inside them. Now let's talk about attraction. You are often drawn toward people who are different from you. Different background, different mindset, different lifestyle. There is something unconventional about your relationships. And that's not random. That difference is what pushes your growth. It challenges your thinking, your expectations, your emotional patterns, but it can also create friction. Differences in opinion, misunderstandings, power struggles. At times, your relationships may look stable from the outside, but internally, there can be tension, unspoken issues, or emotional distance. There can also be phases of separation, not always permanent, but enough to create emotional impact and force reflection. Now, let's talk about your behavior in relationships. You can become very attached, very involved, sometimes even obsessive. You may want constant reassurance, constant presence, constant connection. And when that is not met, it can create anxiety or overthinking. Now, here is your real lesson. You are here to learn balance, to build partnerships where both people exist as individuals, to give but not overgive, to love but not lose yourself, to commit but not control. Because the moment you stop depending on the relationship for your identity, everything changes. Your connections become healthier, your expectations become realistic, and your emotional stability improves. This placement has the potential to create very powerful partnerships. Relationships that bring growth, support, and transformation. But only when you understand this one thing. A relationship should add to your life, not become your entire life. And the moment you hold that balance, you stop chasing love and start experiencing it in a much more stable and fulfilling way. If this helped you understand your placement, you'll find the downloadable version of this mind map on Patreon, together with every other planetary mind map. The link is in the description and pinned comment. North Node in 8th house. If your North Node is in the 8th house, your life is centered around one core theme: transformation, emotional depth, and learning how to let go of control. This is one of the most intense placements because the 8th house is not about surface level living. It is about what happens beneath the surface. Your fears, your attachments, your vulnerabilities, and the parts of life most people try to avoid. With this placement, you are naturally drawn toward depth. You want to understand people beyond what they show. You can sense hidden motives, unspoken emotions, underlying patterns. This gives you a strong psychological awareness. You can read situations deeply, not just logically, but intuitively. Now here's the pattern. Even though you crave deep emotional connection, you may struggle with trust. You may want control in relationships, control over outcomes, control over emotions, control over how things unfold. And when you don't have that control, it creates anxiety, overthinking, or emotional intensity that becomes difficult to manage. There can also be a push-pull dynamic in your life, getting close to something, then pulling away, opening up, then shutting down, because vulnerability feels powerful, but also uncomfortable. Now let's talk about life experiences. People with this placement often go through major turning points, sudden changes, emotional breakdowns, situations that force them to grow internally. These moments can feel heavy when they happen, but they are not random. They are designed to transform you, to make you stronger, more aware, more evolved. This placement is also strongly connected to areas like psychology, healing, research, finance involving shared resources, or anything that requires deep focus and investigation. You are not meant for shallow work. You are meant to go deep into whatever you choose. Now here's another important pattern: attachment. You may hold on to things longer than you should, people, situations, emotions, even when you know it's time to move on, because letting go feels like losing control. But that is exactly where your growth lies. Now here is your real lesson. You are not here to control everything. You are here to transform through what you experience, to allow change instead of resisting it, to trust the process instead of trying to manage every outcome. Because the moment you learn to let go, your life becomes lighter, your emotions become clearer, and your decisions become more powerful. This placement gives you the ability to completely reinvent yourself again and again, to rise from difficult phases stronger than before, but only when you stop holding on to what is no longer meant for you and start embracing change as part of your growth. If you enjoyed this exploration, you can dive deeper with the downloadable mind map on Patreon, along with the complete planetary mind map series. The link is in the description and pinned comment. North Node in 9th house. If your North Node is in the 9th house, your life is centered around one core theme: expanding your perspective, breaking out of limited thinking, and discovering your own truth through experience. This is the house of beliefs, higher learning, philosophy, travel, and life direction. And with this placement, you are not meant to live a small or restricted life. You are meant to explore, to question, to grow beyond what you are taught. From an early stage, you may feel different from the belief systems around you, the way you were raised, the ideas you were exposed to, the rules you're expected to follow at some point. They start to feel limiting, and that creates an internal push, a need to understand life on your own terms. Now here's the pattern. You are constantly searching for meaning, for truth, for something that makes sense to you at a deeper level. You may explore different philosophies, different cultures, different ways of thinking. You don't just accept things blindly, you question them, and this is your strength. But at the same time, this can also create confusion, because when you are always searching, you may struggle to feel grounded. You may follow different ideas at different phases of your life, trust the wrong guidance, or feel lost when something you believed in no longer feels right. Now, let's talk about movement. Travel plays a very important role in your growth, not just for enjoyment, but for perspective. Whenever you step out of your usual environment, your thinking expands. You see life differently. You understand things differently. And often, your biggest breakthroughs come when you are in a new place, around new people, or exposed to new ideas. This placement is also strong for teaching, mentoring, guiding, or influencing others through knowledge. You have the ability to share ideas in a way that impacts people, to help others see a bigger picture, to guide them toward growth. There is also a connection with authority figures, mentors, or father-like influences. These relationships can shape your direction significantly, either by guiding you correctly or by teaching you through challenges. Now here's the challenge. You may resist structure. You may not like fixed rules or rigid systems. You want freedom, the freedom to think, to move, to choose your own path. But without some level of grounding, this can turn into inconsistency, starting one direction, then shifting to another, searching but not settling. Now, here is your real lesson. You are not here to follow someone else's truth. You are here to build your own through real experiences, through exploration, through learning what works for you and what doesn't. Because the moment you stop blindly searching and start integrating what you've learned, your direction becomes clear, your decisions become stronger, and your life starts expanding in a way that feels aligned, not confusing. This placement has the potential to take you far, physically, mentally, and spiritually, but only when you balance exploration with clarity and freedom with direction. That is when your growth becomes powerful and consistent. If this offered you a new perspective, the downloadable version of this mind map is available on Patreon, together with a full collection of planetary mind maps. The link is in the description and pinned comment. North Node in 10th house. If your North Node is in the 10th house, your life is centered around one core theme: building success, stepping into authority, and creating a strong public identity. This is the house of career, reputation, status, and long-term achievement. And with this placement, you are not meant to live a small or hidden life. You are meant to rise, to be seen, to build something significant in the world. There is a strong internal drive in you to achieve, to reach a position where you are respected, recognized, and taken seriously. You don't just want comfort, you want impact. Now here's the pattern. From early on, you may feel a sense of pressure, a need to prove yourself, to do something meaningful with your life. You may compare yourself to others, or feel like you need to move faster, achieve more, or become something bigger. This creates ambition, but also restlessness, because until you see results, it can feel like you're not doing enough. Now, let's talk about your approach to success. You are strategic. You observe. You understand how systems work. And you know how to position yourself in a way that helps you move forward. You're not afraid to take calculated risks. You are willing to do what others avoid if it helps you reach your goal. This is why many people with this placement move into leadership roles, management, business, entrepreneurship, public-facing careers. You are comfortable taking responsibility. And over time, people start seeing you as someone who can lead. Now here's the challenge. In your pursuit of success, you may disconnect from your emotional side, from your personal life, from your inner world. You may prioritize work so much that everything else becomes secondary. Relationships, family, rest, all of it can take a backseat. And even when you achieve something, the satisfaction may not last long, because your mind immediately moves to the next goal. There can also be a tendency to take shortcuts, to focus only on results, to think, as long as I reach the top, the path doesn't matter. But this is where imbalance creates problems, because success built without alignment creates instability later. Now here is your real lesson. You are here to build success, but with structure, patience, and integrity, to create something that lasts, not something that rises quickly and falls just as fast. You are also meant to balance your outer world with your inner world, because true authority does not come from position alone. It comes from stability within. The moment you align your ambition with consistency, your strategy with discipline, and your goals with clarity, your growth becomes unstoppable. This placement has the potential to bring massive success, recognition, and influence. But only when you understand this. You are not just here to chase success. You are here to become someone who can hold it. If this felt meaningful, you can download this mind map on Patreon and explore the complete set of planetary mind maps as well. The link is in the description and pinned comment. North Node in 11th house. If your North Node is in the 11th house, your life is centered around one core theme: expanding through people, building networks, and turning your goals into something bigger than just you. This is the house of friendships, communities, social circles, long-term goals, and financial gains. And with this placement, you are not meant to grow alone. You are meant to grow through connections, through collaborations, through being part of something larger than yourself. There's a natural pull in your life toward groups, audiences, and networks. You may find that opportunities often come through people. Friends introduce you to the right connections. Communities open doors. And your growth accelerates when you are not isolated. Now let's talk about your mindset. You think big. You don't just focus on survival or small goals. You think in terms of expansion, income growth, multiple streams, scaling something over time. There is a strong desire to achieve financial success, not just stability, but abundance. And this placement supports that. Many people with this placement build income through multiple sources: side businesses, online platforms, investments, collaborations. You understand that money can come from different directions, and you are open to exploring them. Now here's the pattern. Along with big thinking comes big desire. You may constantly want more growth, more income, more recognition. And while this drives you forward, it can also create dissatisfaction. Because no matter how much you achieve, it may not feel enough. There can also be a tendency to surround yourself with many people, but not all of them are meaningful connections. Some friendships may be based on opportunity rather than depth. And over time, you may realize that not everyone in your circle truly aligns with you. Now let's talk about your social presence. This placement is very strong for visibility through groups, social media, communities, audience-based platforms. You have the ability to connect with large numbers of people, to influence, to grow a following, to build something that reaches beyond your immediate circle. But your challenge is clarity. You may have many goals, many ideas, many directions, and without focus, your energy can become scattered. Now here is your real lesson. You are here to grow, but with intention, to build connections, but with the right people, to chase goals, but the ones that actually matter to you. Not just what looks big from the outside, because the moment you bring clarity into your vision, everything aligns. Your network becomes stronger, your income becomes more structured, and your growth becomes consistent. This placement has the potential to bring massive financial expansion and social influence, but only when you stop chasing everything and start choosing what truly aligns with your long-term vision. If this helps something click for you, grab the downloadable version of this mind map on Patreon, where you'll also get every other planetary mind map. The link is in the description and pinned comment. North Node in 12th house. If your North Node is in the 12th house, your life is centered around one core theme: letting go of control, developing inner awareness, and learning how to navigate the unseen side of life. This is the house of the subconscious mind. Isolation, healing, spirituality, and hidden patterns. And with this placement, your journey is not just external, it is deeply internal. You are someone who needs space. Time alone is not a luxury for you. It is necessary. Because when you are constantly surrounded by noise, people, and stimulation, you lose clarity. But when you step back, when you disconnect, you start understanding yourself on a much deeper level. Now here's the pattern. You may go through phases of isolation in your life, times where you feel disconnected from others, misunderstood, or pulled away from the outer world. And these phases can feel uncomfortable at first. You may question why this is happening, why things are slowing down, why you feel distant. But these moments are not setbacks. They are part of your growth. Because this placement is pushing you inward toward self-awareness, toward understanding your own mind, your own emotions, your own patterns. Now let's talk about your inner world. You are highly intuitive. You pick up on things that are not always visible. Energy, subtle shifts, unspoken emotions. This makes you naturally drawn toward healing, psychology, creativity, or spiritual exploration. But there is also a challenge here. Escapism. When things feel overwhelming, you may avoid reality through distractions, overthinking, fantasy, or withdrawing too much from the real world. There can be a tendency to delay action, to stay in your comfort zone internally, rather than facing external responsibilities. Now let's talk about practical life. This placement can sometimes create confusion in direction, unclear goals, lack of structure, or feeling like you're drifting without a plan. You may struggle with consistency if you are not grounded. But at the same time, you have a unique strength. You can see what others don't. You can understand deeper layers of situations. And when you learn how to balance your inner world with real-world action, this becomes your biggest advantage. Now here is your real lesson. You are not here to escape life. You are here to understand it from within, to observe your patterns, to release what no longer serves you, to let go of control and trust the process. Because not everything in life can be forced. Some things need to be allowed. The moment you stop resisting stillness and start using it as a tool, your clarity increases, your intuition sharpens, and your decisions become more aligned. This placement has the potential to create deep emotional intelligence, strong intuition, and powerful inner strength. But only when you learn how to balance solitude with action, reflection with movement, and inner awareness with real-world execution. That is when your life starts flowing instead of feeling stuck. If this brought you some insight, you can download this mind map on Patreon along with the full collection of planetary mind maps to support your journey. The link is in the description and pinned comment. Now here's the thing. If you've watched this till the end, you've already done something most people don't. You didn't just consume content. You started understanding your patterns. Because this is not just about astrology. This is about how you think, how you behave, why you repeat certain cycles in your life. And once you start seeing these patterns, you can't unsee them. You'll start noticing it in yourself, in your relationships, in the way people around you act. And that awareness alone puts you ahead of most people. Because now you're not reacting blindly anymore. You're observing. And that's where real change begins. But this is only one part of the picture. Your North Node shows where you're going, but your full chart explains how everything connects. Your personality, your relationship patterns, your strengths, your blind spots, and the decisions you keep repeating without realizing. So if this made sense to you, if you saw even one pattern that matched your life, then don't stop here. Go deeper. On this channel, I break down each planet, each placement in a way that actually makes sense in real life. Not just theory, but how it shows up in your daily behavior. So take a few minutes after this. Check your chart again, pick another placement, and watch that next video. Because the more you understand your chart, the more control you have over your direction, and that's where astrology actually becomes useful. I hope this gave you the clarity you were looking for. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next eye-opening video.